Oh, here I am, I'm on again. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about depression, anxiety, panic attacks, feeling run down, and what I think about these labels that people are given. And I think that because I think that everything stems from trauma, and it doesn't have to be it can be from birth trauma, like when you're in the womb. It can be generational trauma that's passed down, and I think that things manifest in people that they don't know why they're feeling certain ways, why they're getting certain symptoms, and then it manifests in the head. I'm not saying it's not real, because it certainly is real, all the feelings and the symptoms and everything else, but it comes from a deeper place. And if you look deeper in yourself, you might be able to find out why you feel in certain ways, or like why you have to keep going to the doctors because you can't cope. And I've been through going to the doctors and things like that, saying like I can't cope, I've got this overwhelming sadness, but I knew I weren't depressed. I've never been depressed. I can categorically say I've never been depressed. It's just like an overwhelming sadness, which I put it down to me suppressing my emotions from being younger, which has led to it bubbling and me feeling like shame about my emotions, and coming to this realisation that I don't have to have shame about crying or feeling a certain way. I can just ride them feelings through without feeling anger towards myself, I don't need to be angry with myself for feeling upset. I don't need to, if I feel sad, then I feel sad and I'll sit with that emotion. It doesn't mean I'm sad for any reason, like I can just be sad just for being sad's sake. And if I want to cry, I'm going to cry. You should never ever suppress whatever you're feeling. And subconsciously, if you talk to, in your head, if you're hearing things like, oh, you're miserable, oh, she's crying again, oh, she's got her lip out. I mean, from when you're young, when you're a baby, if someone's like, oh, she's got her lip out, she's going to cry again, that is imprinted onto the child, and the child will take that with them. Um, so it's all about what's said and how it's said, and then what's manifested. And if the behaviours continue to put onto the child like shame and like always bringing stuff up about a certain aspect of the behaviour, then it's going to become a big problem. And then that leads to, I got diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, emotionally unstable, and PMDD. That's premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and that's to do with your periods, like severe PMS, PMT. But I don't want to have these labels on me. That's my individual choice. Um, and I think if you get down to the root of the trauma of why these emotions keep surfacing, because sometimes you don't deal with the actual feeling, you deal with the surface feeling of why or what happened. Say if you're in a situation where you got robbed, and then you went to a counsellor and you were telling the counsellor about, oh, he stole my purse, he robbed me, but you're not getting down to how that made you feel inside. You need to get down to how it makes you feel, the repercussions on your mental health, which causes PTSD, which is also trauma. There's a lot of trauma. So you've got to get to the nitty gritty. You've got to sit down and you've got to be very patient with yourself. You've got to be honest with yourself, and like, it's not about what happened to you, it's about how it made you feel and how it's followed you into the same patterns of like same relationships, like dysfunction with families, dysfunction at work, and it's just patterns from the past trauma. It follows you to new things unless you sit down with it, and like go through it, because there's no point like going over the surface of stuff, because if you're going over the surface, then it's like a volcano, isn't it? If you're just looking at the volcano at the top, you can see the smoke. That's the anger. You can feel the heat. That's like anger, sadness. It's like bubbling up. But where's that coming from? And if you look deep into the volcano, if you wait for it, it shouldn't have to erupt. Like you should, like you need to be able to go into the volcano like without burning yourself, but knowing what's in there, because nobody needs to get to a point where they need to erupt, do they? And if you do, then you really like struggling at that point, and there's no shame in it at all. So yeah, this video it's about my outlook on the labels that doctors give to people, and I know that that's like the curriculum of the doctor's world. If you've got these feelings, then it must be that. If you've got them feelings, then it must be that. We'll prescribe them tablets for that. But you can't do that. There's a lot of people in the world that are going through stuff, and they're not being taught how to you don't need to regulate your emotions. It's just how to be with them and not feel shame and angry with yourself about how you're feeling, because we're all human, and it's natural to feel all our feelings. It's natural to cry. When you're born, you cry. Babies cry. That's the first natural response. And if you see them videos where babies they don't know whether to cry, and then they don't know whether to laugh. They're laughing and crying, and the lips coming out at the same time. That doesn't mean they're dysregulated. They're just trying to process which emotion like goes with what, and they're feeling it. They're not trying to suppress anything. They're feeling it. So you should never like have a go at your child for crying, or like being too happy or being too sensitive. That's just them, and they need to process it in the right way, and they need to have the support and guidance around them to become not to become okay with themselves, but to just be just be. You shouldn't have judgments put upon you when you're a child. You shouldn't have like things. You just you. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to be angry, angry. As long as it's let out in the right way. If you want to run around streets like I don't. If you just want to be yourself, you should just be yourself. Please don't suppress any part of yourself, because that's what makes you individual. And when you're suppressing yourself and putting yourself in a little box, what other people have done all your life, then you become that box, and it's like, I need to get out. And then you might go to drugs, you might go to alcohol, you might go to other outlets like sex, or like violent behaviour. There's all sorts of outlets, but you don't need to have these outlets, because these outlets are the anger what you're suppressing, like or the tears that you've suppressed, or the happiness that you've suppressed. And they're all in this little box with you. And you don't need to let them out all at once, like kind of. You just need to sit with whatever comes at the time. Just sit and be with it, and it's okay. It's fine. There's no shame. There's no like. Don't avoid your emotions. You're all right to have to be yourself. So yeah, I just wanted to do a video on what I think about like trauma and where it comes from and how it can affect people and stuff. So thank you for watching. I hope everybody's okay and I hope everybody has a good day. I've been Michelle Andrews. Bye.